Welcome to our exploration of the vital connection between gender and the environment. In today's world, protecting our planet and its biodiversity is not just an environmental issue, it's also a matter of social justice and equality. Women, in particular, face unique challenges and vulnerabilities due to environmental and climate change impacts, yet they also hold immense potential as agents of change. This video will guide you through the evidence, policies, and actions needed to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, by integrating gender equality into environmental sustainability efforts. Let's begin by understanding why this nexus matters for everyone's future. Gender equality and environmental goals are deeply interconnected. Women often experience the effects of environmental degradation more acutely than men, especially in developing countries. Social norms, limited access to resources, and lower representation in decision-making processes make women more vulnerable to climate change, pollution, and natural disasters. However, women also tend to have more environmentally conscious attitudes and can drive positive change. Recognizing these differences is essential for creating policies that are both fair and effective, ensuring that no one is left behind on the path to sustainability. United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development sets out 17 SDGs, covering economic, social, and environmental ambitions. Gender equality is a goal in itself, SDG 5, while 9 other SDGs directly relate to the environment. Despite this, the SDG framework often treats gender and environmental issues separately, missing key opportunities to address their interconnection. Only a small fraction of SDG indicators capture both gender and environmental dimensions. Bridging this gap is crucial for effective policymaking and for achieving the SDGs in a holistic way. Men are more likely to be affected by environmental hazards due to factors such as limited land rights, lower access to finance and education, and overrepresentation in low-income groups. In times of crisis such as natural disasters or pandemics, women and girls face increased risks of displacement and gender-based violence. These vulnerabilities are not just a matter of circumstance, they are rooted in deep-seated social and economic inequality. Addressing these issues requires targeted policies that empower women and protect their rights. Despite facing many challenges, women are not just victims of environmental change, they are powerful agents of transformation. Across the globe, women lead community conservation efforts, advocate for sustainable practices, and contribute valuable knowledge to climate adaptation and mitigation. When women are included in decision-making, environmental policies tend to be more effective and inclusive. Empowering women is not only a matter of justice, but also a practical strategy for achieving sustainability. Globally, women remain underrepresented in environmental leadership roles, whether in government, business, or international organizations. This gap is especially pronounced in sectors like energy, infrastructure, and finance, which are crucial for environmental outcomes. Increasing women's participation in these areas can help ensure that policies reflect diverse perspectives and address the needs of all members of society. Closing the gender gap in leadership is a key step toward more resilient and sustainable communities. It's important to recognize that women's experiences with environmental issues are not uniform. Factors like age, disability, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status can compound vulnerabilities. Indigenous women and those in rural or marginalized communities often face unique challenges and have distinct knowledge systems. Addressing intersectionality ensures that policies are truly inclusive and responsive to the needs of the most vulnerable population. One of the biggest challenges in advancing the gender environment agenda is the lack of reliable, gender disaggregated data. Out of 231 SDG indicators, only 20 capture both gender and environmental aspects. This data gap makes it difficult for policymakers to design effective, targeted interventions. Improving data collection and analysis is a top priority for building evidence-based policies that address both gender equality and environmental sustainability. Achieving the SDGs requires policies that are coherent across economic, social, and environmental dimensions. The OECD's Policy Coherence for Sustainable Development Framework helps identify synergies and manage trade-offs between different goals. Applying a gender lens to environmental policies ensures that interventions do not inadvertently reinforce inequalities and instead promote well-being for all. Integrated approaches are essential for long-term sustainable progress. Sustainable agriculture is a cornerstone of food security and environmental health. Women play a significant role in agriculture, especially in developing countries, yet they often face barriers to land ownership, credit, and training. Eliminating gender discrimination in agriculture can boost productivity, enhance resilience, and support conservation efforts. Gender-sensitive policies in this sector are vital for achieving zero hunger and promoting sustainable land use. Access to clean water and sanitation is essential for health and well-being. In many regions, women and girls are primarily responsible for water collection, which limits their opportunities for education and employment. Improving water infrastructure and involving women in water governance can lead to better outcomes for families and communities. Safe, accessible water is a foundation for gender equality and sustainable development. Energy access is transformative, especially for women in rural areas who spend hours collecting fuel. Clean, affordable energy reduces health risks, frees up time for education and work, and supports economic empowerment. Women's leadership in the energy sector can accelerate the transition to renewables and ensure that solutions meet diverse needs. Addressing energy poverty with a gender perspective is key to sustainable progress. Infrastructure and innovation drive economic growth, but women often face barriers in these sectors, from limited access to STEM education to underrepresentation in leadership. Gender-inclusive policies in industry and infrastructure can unlock new opportunities for women and foster more sustainable, resilient economies. Encouraging women's participation in science and technology is crucial for green innovation. Cities are engines of opportunity, but urban design and transport often fail to consider women's needs. Women may face longer commutes, safety concerns, and limited access to affordable housing. Inclusive urban planning can improve access, safety, and well-being for all residents. Women's involvement in city governance leads to more equitable and sustainable communities. Women often make the majority of household purchasing decisions, yet have less influence over production chains. Unsustainable production and waste disproportionately affect women, especially those in low-income or marginalized groups. Promoting responsible consumption and supporting women-led businesses in the circular economy can reduce environmental harm and create new opportunities for empowerment. Climate change has gendered impacts, with women often bearing the brunt of disasters and resource scarcity. However, women's traditional knowledge and community roles make them effective leaders in climate adaptation and resilience. Integrating gender equality into climate policies ensures that solutions are just, effective, and sustainable for all. Oceans and marine resources are vital for livelihoods and food security, especially in coastal communities. Women play key roles in fisheries and marine conservation but are often overlooked in policy and management. Empowering women in the blue economy can enhance sustainability and resilience, benefiting entire communities. Forests, land, and biodiversity are essential for planetary health. Women, especially in indigenous and rural communities, are stewards of these resources but face barriers to participation and land rights. Gender-sensitive conservation policies can protect ecosystems and support women's leadership in sustainable land management. Integrating gender equality into environmental policies isn't just about fairness, it also brings economic benefits. Women's participation in green jobs, innovation, and sustainable business can drive growth and resilience. Gender-sensitive job reallocation and support for women entrepreneurs in the green economy create a virtuous cycle of empowerment and sustainability. Environmental hazards like air pollution, unsafe water, and toxic chemicals have gender-differentiated health impacts. Women, especially those in low-income or marginalized groups, are more exposed to these risks. Addressing environmental health disparities requires targeted interventions and inclusive policies that protect everyone's well-being. Women's participation in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics (STEM) is crucial for green innovation. However, gender gaps in education and employment persist. Encouraging girls and women to pursue STEM careers and supporting their leadership in research and development can accelerate the transition to a low-carbon economy. Women influence household consumption patterns, often making choices that are more environmentally friendly. Supporting women as consumers and entrepreneurs in the circular economy can reduce waste, promote recycling, and foster sustainable lifestyles. Policies that empower women in these roles amplify positive environmental outcomes. Despite their potential, women face persistent barriers in accessing resources, education, and decision-making roles. Social norms, legal restrictions, and lack of support structures limit women's participation in environmental governance and green sectors. Removing these barriers is essential for unleashing the full potential of women as leaders and innovators. COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted and intensified existing gender inequalities. Women have been disproportionately affected by job losses, increased care responsibilities, and exposure to health risks. At the same time, the crisis has shown the importance of resilient, inclusive policies that address both gender and environmental challenges. Recovery efforts offer a unique opportunity to build back better. Women, youth, and vulnerable groups are at the forefront of environmental justice movements. Their advocacy and leadership have driven progress on issues like pollution, conservation, and climate action. Ensuring their voices are heard in policymaking leads to more equitable and effective solutions for all. Achieving gender equality and environmental sustainability requires strong partnerships across governments, businesses, and civil society. Collaborative efforts can leverage diverse expertise and resources, driving transformative change. Building alliances that prioritize both gender and environmental goals is essential for lasting impact. To advance the gender-environment agenda, governments should ensure equal access to education and health, promote gender parity in decision-making, apply a gender lens to environmental policies, and mainstream gender and transboundary issues like trade and investment. Systematic evidence gathering and evaluation mechanisms are also vital for tracking progress and refining strategies. Education is a powerful tool for empowering women and advancing sustainability. Integrating environmental topics into curricula and promoting STEM education for girls can build the next generation of leaders and innovators. Lifelong learning opportunities ensure that women can adapt to changing economic and environmental realities. Rural and indigenous women are often the primary stewards of natural resources, yet they face unique challenges such as limited land rights and access to services. Supporting their leadership and recognizing their traditional knowledge can enhance conservation efforts and promote sustainable development tailored to local needs. Urbanization presents both opportunities and challenges for women. While cities can offer better access to services and jobs, women may also face increased risks related to safety, housing, and transport. Urban policies that prioritize inclusivity and safety can help ensure that cities are places of opportunity for all. The transition to a green economy offers new job opportunities, but women are often underrepresented in these sectors. Targeted training, mentorship, and support for women entrepreneurs can help close the gap and ensure that the benefits of green growth are shared equitably. Infrastructure projects from transport to energy have profound impacts on gender equality. When women's needs are considered in design and implementation, infrastructure can enhance safety, mobility, and economic participation. Inclusive planning leads to more resilient and equitable communities. Environmental health risks, such as exposure to chemicals and pollution, often affect women differently due to biological and social factors. Policies that address these risks must consider gender-specific vulnerabilities and ensure access to healthcare and information for all. Natural disasters disproportionately impact women, especially in regions with high gender inequality. Involving women in disaster planning and response can improve resilience and recovery. Their local knowledge and community networks are invaluable assets in building safer, more prepared societies. Biodiversity loss threatens livelihoods and well-being, particularly for women in rural and indigenous communities. Supporting women's participation in conservation initiatives and recognizing their traditional roles can strengthen efforts to protect ecosystems and promote sustainable resource use. Women's involvement in water governance leads to more effective and equitable management of resources. Their perspectives help ensure that policies address the needs of all users and promote sustainable practices. Empowering women in decision-making roles is essential for water security. Renewable energy projects offer opportunities for women's economic empowerment and leadership. By supporting women's participation in the energy sector, we can accelerate the shift to clean energy and ensure that solutions are inclusive and effective. The circular economy, which emphasizes reuse and recycling, benefits from women's leadership and innovation. Women-led businesses in waste management and sustainable production are making a difference worldwide. Supporting these initiatives can reduce environmental harm and create green jobs. Integrating gender equality into climate policy ensures that adaptation and mitigation efforts are just and effective. Women's voices and experiences must be included in national and international climate negotiations to develop solutions that work for everyone. Access to finance is a major barrier for women entrepreneurs in green sectors. Financial inclusion and targeted support can help women launch and grow businesses that contribute to environmental sustainability. Inclusive finance is a catalyst for innovation and empowerment. Technology is transforming the way we address environmental challenges. Women's participation in digital innovation and tech-driven solutions is essential for creating tools that are accessible and effective for all. Bridging the digital gender gap is a priority for sustainable development. Women's advocacy is driving policy change at local, national, and international levels. Their efforts have led to stronger environmental protections, better representation, and more inclusive policies. Supporting women's leadership and advocacy ensures that progress continues. Tracking progress on gender and environmental goals requires robust indicators and regular reporting. Improving data systems and ensuring transparency help hold governments and organizations accountable. Measurement is key to understanding what works and where more action is needed. Achieving gender equality and environmental sustainability is a shared responsibility. By working together, across sectors, countries, and communities, we can build a more resilient, inclusive, and sustainable future. Every action counts and everyone has a role to play in this global effort. Summary: integrating gender equality into environmental policies is not just a moral imperative, it's a practical necessity for achieving the SDGs. Women's leadership, knowledge, and participation are essential for building resilient societies and protecting our planet. Let's continue to support and empower women as agents of change, ensuring that sustainability and equality go hand in hand for generations to come.